What's going on there, kings and queens and everyone in between? It's your boy Glitchblade, and I feel as though today I have to come to you guys with a very heavy heart because I feel like there's a contusion in the back of my brain that is just sucking off the oxygen from my head. I think it's even growing its own personality. I think I'm going to have a boil talking to me on the back of my spine within the next couple of hours because I don't know what's going on anymore. Now, for those of you who don't know, Overwatch used to be a really big thing for me. Like, that was a game that I would grind, I would play for hours, I would stream. Hell, I even thought about making content for it, as a whole YouTube channel experience. I know, that's a very foolish line of thinking, but thank God we lucked out and that's not the timeline we went down. Somehow we went down one that seems to be infinitely more dark for the future of Overwatch. Let's face it, this game in 2016 just blew everything else out of the water. There were people who were even going as far to boast that their game is the Overwatch killer, only to watch it release and flop as Overwatch continued to ascend to grander heights. However, fast forward half a decade, and we haven't gotten a content update since August of this year. And I know what you're saying, well, that's only a quarter, that's not that bad. Well, we haven't gotten anything that's of substantial update to really sink our teeth into since Echo came out. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Clearly, there's no way it's been that long, right? There's no way. Echo had to come out, earlier this year, maybe January, maybe the summer. Maybe we're being more optimistic here. But no. Echo came out on April 14th, 2020. That's right, folks. It's been around 19 months since we've gotten anything that is truly tangible, that we could truly sink our teeth into and truly enjoy as a nice piece of schmeedy content in this lovely game called Overwatch. Now look, I already know that looking back into the past, going down memory lane can lead to a bunch of triggering experiences, a lot of traumatic ones as well, especially when you feel as though you finally escaped that hellscape. But I feel as though we got to peer back into the Wayback Machine just one time, back to 2018, because this stuff at Blizzard has been going on for a long time. You don't remember Battle of Azeroth? You don't remember all the people in 2018 who were up in arms in the World of Warcraft community who were just absolutely not only appalled at the fact that their beta released in this state, the fact that there was all these bugs, people's computers were getting crashed, all this type of nonsense that was happening with the game that wasn't even allowing them to even enjoy or even get a little bit of a taste of a game that they pay for? And then only to have Blizzard not even acknowledge the community's existence? The whole entire community was having petitions, they were having Reddit threads, they were on the forums, they were screaming at anybody who would listen on YouTube, any sort of social media platform you can think of. Players were upset by all of that in the game, but also the non-existent layers of communication from the development team about not just issues that popped up now, but long-standing issues as well. Things got so bad that the director over at World of Warcraft, the game director, had to come out and issue an apology to the community and promise more transparent communication from the dev team to the fans. And to be honest, I don't think that's happened. Maybe someone who grinds WoW can tell me that, but I just feel as though you figured by now we would stop being tripped up by such simple hurdles such as being transparent. Then, after that, keeping it in the same year, do y'all remember? Do you guys have phones? I don't need to speak about ad nauseum about Diablo. That thing was ran into the ground. It was a meme at this point, so we're just gonna pull off that. But if we keep it in the same year, we haven't even hit 2019 yet. Blizzard unexpectedly just up and kills the Heroes of the Storm pro scene. Imagine being a programmer for your favorite esport. You're grinding, you're practicing, and then 11 days before Christmas, December 14th, you wake up, you do your stretches, you're getting ready to grind out some good old-fashioned games, you're ready to get some scrims going, and then you find out that none of you have jobs. You are all immediately unemployed without any notice, without any warning, and just before its 2019 season was supposed to start, they just rinsed their hands of it. And though not necessarily surprising, as we know that Heroes of the Storm was definitely underperforming, fans and pros were infuriated that it was on the schedule to start soon for the 2019 season and then just immediately kaput Nozorski. Then you even push further past that. There was a former Blizzard employee who says HR did nothing to stop racist bullying. The climate there, the culture there hasn't been good. Then they lay off almost 1,000 employees. Then you get the whole thing where Blizzard bans Hearthstone Pro over saying liberate Hong Kong. a man that's been living in a struggle, a war zone, like the aforementioned hellscape. People are out there protesting, people are giving their lives, people are not taking the Chinese oppression lying down, and they just decide, hey, Blitzchung, we know that you are an international champion for our game, but we're going to suspend you because China is in our back pocket, and by our back pocket, we are definitely in China's back pocket, and we just can't have that. And it's really funny because not only was he suspended for a year, he was stripped of his prize winnings. And the two Taiwanese casters who were just present when it went down were just present. They were just in the same room when the interview went down. They were also fired. And you mean to tell me that this is a company that's supposed to be the face of, oh, I don't know, diversity and inclusion? Please. Then there was the whole free speech protest that took over BlizzCon 2019. You had people out here dressing like Winnie the Pooh. You had people over here saying that this isn't how it should be. The two Taiwanese casters are still fired, by the way. They are still fired. I just want to make sure that they did not patch that for the longest time. Then Warcraft 3 Reforged comes out. That's a disaster. Hearthstone Pro claims that he's been blacklisted by Blizzard after his wife was laid off. Then you have the whole thing about the whole sexual assault thing that has happened recently. And yeah, it's just not good. It really just isn't good. And for some reason, somehow, we can't get it together. And I didn't even bring up the stuff that happened in 2020 about Blizzard's employees are sharing a spreadsheet documenting the salaries in protest over low pay because they're not even paying the people that they're supposed to pay. Now, that brings us to the Activision Blizzard's being sued for discrimination and sexual harassment. And then you have the whole California and the Fair House of Employment and Housing revealed that it had filed a lawsuit against Activision Blizzard, claiming that the employees had faced constant sexual harassment, including groping, comments, and advances due to a frat boy work culture, which then we found out that there was a thing called the Cosby Room, and now they're renaming characters in the game because the characters are somehow also named after sexual predators and weirdos and social degenerates. And now we find ourselves scratching our head because Overwatch 2 is delayed again. But the other thing that is upsetting about going down this trip on memory lane is that, remember how in the aforementioned segment I said something like the last bit of content that we could really sink our teeth into and really just chew the meat out of was back in April of 2020? Y'all remember that? How it's been like a year and a half since we got something substantial for Overwatch 1? Well, if we were to go back the same amount of time, back to same month, same year, for another game like Apex Legends, the last character that they had during that time was also a robot. His name was Revenant. And since then, we've gotten a Loba, we got a Rampart, a Horizon, a Fuse, a Valkyrie, a Seer, and an Ashe. And not just Apex Legends, but games like Fortnite and other battle royales of that nature and various other free-to-play games like Splitgate are coming out, and they're doing gangbusters. They are fun, phenomenal games that are swimming in an almost endless sea of content. And did I mention that they're free? Overwatch 1 is still a game that is being charged for anywhere from $5, $10, $15 to $20, depending on your region and what time of year you get it, and if there's a sale going on, etc., so on and so forth. Plenty of variables, but you still have to come out of pocket in order to get that experience. And that brings me to the upcoming sequel game, Overwatch 2, and with it being delayed again, I gotta start asking questions like, is it vaporware? Is it real? Is this a real tangible thing that we're gonna be able to have? Because we were told, rest assured, that the development team is doing all they can, things are on schedule, don't worry about delays. The Overwatch League, while I may not care for the Overwatch League personally in any way, shape, or form, the Overwatch League players are supposed to be able to get their hands on it, and maybe they'll be able to find some issues through high-level play and good old-fashioned grinding that the dev team that is obviously swamped with a million of other issues and a myriad of other problems to deal with and discern, that maybe that they may turn a blind eye to, maybe these top players will be able to pull to the forefront. Now, while that all sounds good on paper, the fact that it's going to be delayed and the Overwatch League schedule seems to be set in stone, you got to start asking this question. What do we really have here? As we've seen, the Overwatch League has lost about 90% of their sponsors, so we know the money pool isn't as big, it's not as robust. We see that Overwatch 2 is now cutting out an entire player. You're cutting an entire tank role for 5v5 as opposed to 6v6. So people are even losing their jobs this time around. But we gotta start really looking at this stuff like when there is smoke and we can clearly see that stuff is burning and things aren't looking good. We can't sit here and just put the fingers in our ears and do the la 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 na 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 boo boo and just pretend like there's not genuine problems here. This is a game that has been devoid of content. You just got done with yet another Junkenstein Halloween event. Yes, the same very Junkenstein event that you had in 2016 when the game first released. So yeah, how you doing? And the only sort of new content that we're getting over the past year or so have been skins and, dare I even say, maps that most people will never see because they don't play deathmatch modes. And if you want to peel back yet another layer, they felt so bad for their community. They went and they pulled some skins that were supposed to be limited release only and reopened them just to try to appease some people because of all the nonsense and just absolute hogwash that's been coming down the pipeline from Blizzard's camp over the past couple of years. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't necessarily see an end in sight. Your stock's been plummeting. Your interest in your games have been plummeting. Many people who are really excited for Overwatch and or even Overwatch content creators have shown that their interest in Overwatch 2 is not only zero, it is dead and buried, and they have moved on to other games, other projects, other things to do. And I just don't see where you go from here. This video wasn't necessarily meant to have a solution. This was more like I just wanted to vent and talk about it with you guys in the comment section below. Where do you think Overwatch is right now? Because I've seen plenty of people who are big time Overwatch content creators who have come out and said their opinion and said that we didn't have things to worry about. Things aren't all doom and gloom. And these people apparently have connects within the industry, within the walls of Blizzard and the Overwatch team itself. And they're wrong. There have been people on the Overwatch team who have told us things and they were wrong. So if they don't know, how could we? And that's just not a good state of the game. It's just not a good state of the game. And with all that being said, I hope if you made it this far in the video and enjoyed what you've heard, you'll drop me a follow and go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the awesome content I plan on bringing you. We may even bring some Overwatch to the channel someday. We can dream. But until then, y'all have a great set of games and an even better day. And I will catch you guys the next time the Royal Court meets. Meeting adjourned.